I've been meaning to make this video here for a very long time because I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm world famous for, okay, mildly famous. Okay, no one knows until today. But my onion rings are amazing, and I'm going to teach you how to make these because these things are absolutely to die for, or to die from if you eat too many of them, because they are deep fried and not the healthiest things in the world. But you didn't come here for the health tips. You came here for the yummy. So let's get started making some yummy. Yeah. My beer batter recipe for my onion rings has evolved over quite a bit of time. I've been doing this for better part of a decade, at least I think. And I've learned a few things. I'm going to tell you all of them right now because this is where all the secrets come out. You're welcome. First of all, I never measure this. I just kind of eyeball it. Always turns out fine. So these exact measurements, you know, I did go through this and figure out how much I was putting in it. So you can use these exact measurements, or you can eyeball it. If you're good at eyeballing this kind of stuff, you've been cooking for a long time, eyeball this one. There's some wiggle room. That's all I will say. And with that, we're going to get started. I did have to write it down. This is the first time in my life, I've been doing this a decade or more. First time I actually had to write this down, which is hilarious. Let's make sure we get it right. All the ingredients are listed here. Here you go. Unfortunately, I can't see that because I'm blind. No, that's special effects. So we're going to go with the actual practical effects here. It's written on a piece of paper. We have a cup and a half of all-purpose flour. Now here is a case where self-rising flour would work fantastic. And we'll get into that in half a second. But I have a 1 cup scoop here. I'm going to take this. We're going to take a knife. We're going to level this off. We're going to try to get this precise because nobody cares. Maybe YouTube will label this as misinformation or something. That'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? They get the little blue bar at the bottom, you know. The CDC says you have to. Just come on, man. Come on, it's onion rings. Now, if they wanted to say that it's not good for you, I'm not going to argue with them. All right, so we have a cup and a half. That is that right there. We have that out of our way, and we don't need these anymore. Okay, that's a couple less things we need on this little tiny work spot. What's the next thing going in here? We got paprika, 2 teaspoons of paprika. We got our paprika right here. This is not hot paprika. You do not want this spicy. You probably don't even want to use the smoked paprika for this because it will give you some weirdness with that. This is just plain old Spanish paprika, but it's not. That's a sweeter paprika. It's not the smoked stuff though. There's 1 teaspoon, 2. Close enough. Like I said, you don't really have to measure this. The rest of these are all single teaspoons. That makes it a little bit easier because I don't really have to think. If you've been here long enough, you know I don't like to think. So we have some black pepper, which is only getting, it's getting half. No, it's getting it's getting half. So I lied. Okay, almost everything else. So we'll start with the things that are getting. Garlic powder. Garlic powder, good. Garlic and onions go together really well. Another reason why you can't feed this to your dogs. Don't feed your dogs onions or garlic. It's a bad idea. We have, this is one of the weird ones right here. This is baking powder. We have a teaspoon of that going in here. Level that off. Now, why is there baking powder in this? Because we want this light and fluffy. The way that a batter like this works is that basically you're almost making a pancake batter without the eggs. And without the milk and other things like that, although don't get too far ahead of myself. You do not make pancakes with beer. I don't care. Don't do that. That's not funny at all. Yeah, basically it's a pancake batter. So the baking powder is going to react with the heat and it's going to make them light and airy. And they're going to look heavy, but they're going to eat light and airy. Okay, this I learned doing fish and chips a long time ago. I thought, what else can I put in that? Because I was much younger. I had a much higher voice. And I found out that that wasn't true. I just talk funny sometimes. Old Bay goes great with fish, and I had leftover batter and some onions, and I was like, hey, I'm going to just do that real quick. That was one of those days where you're like, yep, this is where I don't know what the word serendipitous camelliagations of whatever it is. That one worked out great. Old Bay, teaspoon of that going in. It is amazing, and I'm going to stop doing funny voices. It's Friday night here, folks. I don't know if you know that or not, but it is. So, just saying. Salt. We have a teaspoon of salt as well because you're going to put. Not really salting the outside, but salt is such an important part of the flavor. You got to have salt. Okay, and we have a teaspoon of MSG. Yeah, that does not stand for Madison Square Garden, by the way. No. Or Maggie Sally Green. No, that was... I don't remember what that lady with the weird glasses with the Sarah Jean, whatever her name was. Sarah Jessica Parker? No, that wasn't it. There was the lady with the talk show way back when. Don't care. Half teaspoon of white pepper. Here's my half a teaspoon right here. That's going down. We've got basically everything on my list here for our dry ingredients. So let's start with the wet ingredients. You need 12 ounces of beer. I'm using a Modelo Oro right here because I wouldn't drink this if you paid me. It'll work perfectly for this. You want light beer. Some people say you want a dark lager or something like that. I vehemently disagree. A light beer works better. If you don't want to use beer at all, use club soda. You want the carbonation. It is a very integral part of this, integral even. Just give this a stir so you don't get any weirdness as we're going in here. Okay. We're going to pour the entire beer in. This is equal parts flour to this. So 12 ounces of this, cup and a half of flour. That's how that works. Yeah, if this was any other beer, I'd be crying right now. Except I know how good these onion rings are. That seems like a lot of beer. That is a lot of flour. And you want a, not overly runny, but you want some of a thing. The last thing that's going in this is 1 tablespoon of milk. And let me explain that really quick. That gives you that nice crunchy shell. The milk proteins and things do a lot of crazy stuff when they hit the hot oil, when they mix with the gluten and the rest of the stuff in here. And it gives you a really nice crunch to it and that snap, not a soggy, greasy thing. So a tablespoon of milk is fantastic. I always use whole milk because it's got more fat. If you're going to be cooking with milk, cook with whole milk. If you're going to be putting on your cereal, I can tell you, do whatever you want. But I'm going to grab the milk, put that in, and then we're ready to go. Whoa, no, I'm just kidding. It's fine. Always smell your milk. Okay, a tablespoon of milk going down. That's that. I never measure the stuff, so I usually have a lot less dishes to have to clean up. We have a whisk here. We are going to just whisk this up, and this will turn into a beautiful pink batter here very quickly because of the paprika and the Old Bay. If you don't have Old Bay, there's the Chesapeake seasoning stuff, the other stuff that everybody calls Old Bay, but it's what 90% of the restaurants use. If you have that, use it. It is mostly commercially available, but if you live in an area where you can get that stuff, please leave me the name down in the comments because I forgot what it is and I've been trying to find that because I haven't had it. All I have is the Old Bay, which is not the same thing. Okay, you thought that was too much liquid when you saw me pouring the entire beer in there, but look at this. That is the perfect consistency we want. This will tighten up a little bit more as it sits, but this has a life expectancy on it, a very short life on it. This is good for about an hour, hour and a half, tops. The baking powder does weird things, everything else does weird things. This will get unhappy and it will give you less than satisfactory results. If you're doing this in a restaurant, you already know that because you have to change this batter out about every hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. You can't just use the same batter and make one big batter for the day. That is the rules. I didn't make them. I'm not going to break that one because I know it doesn't work. That's it. We're going to dump the onions in this right at the last second and get them in the fryer. And that's how we make onion rings. There you go. Let's finish with this thing. Let's start cooking some onion rings. I sliced this sweet onion into just over half-inch slices. We're going to put this into our batter. We're going to make sure it's coated all the way around. I've got a bamboo skewer here, a pair of them that I'm using to do this because we're going to treat these kind of like you would with donuts. If you've ever made donuts, you know how to make onion rings pretty much. We drop them in here. The only nice thing is that the onion actually holds it together, whereas a donut, not so much. But yeah, this is going in the oil. The deep fryer is set to about 350 to 375, something like that. This deep fryer does a great job of holding that temperature. I've had a couple of these, and the temperature is always pretty much as advertised. What you set the dial to is what you get. After a couple of minutes of constantly flipping your onion rings, I wanted to call them donuts because they're so donut-y. You can see how much they puffed up because of the baking powder. But yeah, let them drain a little bit. And you have onion rings. These are delicious. Just drain them, put them in a basket, and it's just about time to eat them. Just keep going until you're all done. By the way, this batter is enough to make almost 2 full onions. That's a lot of onion rings, so I really hope you're hungry. I know I am. That is how you make these onion rings. They could not really be much more straightforward than that. If you follow these directions, this does work. You cannot shallow fry these. I'm sorry, this has to be done in deep amounts of oil. You don't have to have a deep fryer. You can do it in a pot and use a thermometer and the whole thing. But a deep fryer is easier, and it's like $60. And there is a link to it here. This one, I've had this thing forever. Actually, this is my second one. I fried the cord because we won't get into that. But I melted the cord down, and the cord cost as much as the deep fryer, so I just bought a new deep fryer. But it is fantastic. The thing works. It's easy to use, and I like it. So if you want to get one of those things, there's the link. It's in the description down below. Just under the title, you'll see a link that says ... more. Click that, and then you'll have all that information down there. That is an affiliates link to the Amazon store thing, so I do make a smidge of money on that. It does help support the channel a little bit. You've heard that, blah, 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 all this stuff. But if you do that, I am legally obligated to tell you that I'm going to be rolling in it big time. No, not really. But it does help. So thank you for doing that. If you want to. If you have room for a deep fryer in your heart or in your kitchen, they really are kind of cool. And you can make stuff like this because it's, oh man. Okay, I gotta, this thing is so light. So, oh, I'll tell you, do you see how that just tears apart? Do you see how this is just tearing apart? Oh. That is absolutely the best onion ring in the world. I defy you to find a better onion ring. The Old Bay, it's the weirdest thing, but that really works in here. There's some to it that you don't get normally in an onion ring, and it's so light. The baking powder makes such a huge difference, and the milk gives it that little bit of crispiness. I mean, this is crispy. Oh, there's a reason I look like this, folks. Because I know how to make stuff like this. And now you know how to make this stuff like this. So I suggest you go get a deep fryer, an onion, some ingredients, and some stretchy pants. Because you need to eat these. And on that note, get your stretchy pants on because it's another one of those episodes. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you will join me for another one sometime soon because I'm trying to put these out more often, and hopefully they're entertaining and you like this stuff. If you want to leave me a comment, let me know more things you'd want to see. I always love that. And if you see something I'm obviously doing wrong, you can always let me know because I know I'm not perfect. Believe me, I have a mirror. It does work. I know this. But yeah, leave me any comments at all, negative, positive, whatever. I love feedback. It's the whole point of this. Otherwise, I'm just a guy standing here in a room alone with a camera in front of me. What do I know? So leave me those comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks. Bye.